Howdy, everybody. I'm here with Sam, who got 15th at the 14th at the Lansing Regional. Sam, what were you playing?
Mermail.
All right, show us the list.
All right. Changed it up from last format. I'm actually playing coelacanth, so you'll see that in the ratios. Yeah, we'll do it this way. Yeah. Obvious three of dragoons.
Good card.
Yep. 3 squads. These are all the obvious cards. 3 Poseidon. I don't know if everyone's playing 3 of this, but you want to see him now because this deck doesn't get as many dragoon searches. So just hard opening him is pretty good. And 3 Abyss Rhyme and 3 Teus. So these are like broadly the starter cards you want to see in the hand, and some combination. Opening 2 or 3 of these feels pretty good usually. So what is that? 6 times 3? Yeah, 18. Okay, so.
How many times did your Shadow Squads get ashed today?
Quite a bit, yeah.
I have to imagine it did.
Which is fine usually.
Okay.
Usually.
I just know this deck sometimes you get ashed on Shadow Squad and you're like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do like, sometimes you hit them with this move right here. And then you chain block it, so.
I see.
I feel like every time I save Ash for Shadow Squad, they chain block it.
Yeah.
So like I've listen, man. Usually Ash the first thing they do.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah.
That's usually correct. Yeah, that's fair.
All right, and then all the cards you don't want to draw.
The bricks, baby.
I try to minimize this as much as humanly possible, but you still gotta play this. Unfortunately,
Shout out
last
that guy.
format I didn't play this, but now that Toad is banned and Droll is like in every deck, I think you have to play this, and this saved my ass like probably 4 or 5 games I got drolled.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So these are the fish. I don't really value Pike as a card, so that's why I'm playing the Butterfly Fish over the Pike. This card's kind of like your 4th Dragoons. It's worse than Dragoons, but it's a solid card. And it also has a secret effect that a lot of people know the effect you can add it back to your hand when it's discarded, but if a card's sent to your graveyard while it's in the graveyard, you can also just special it. So sometimes if you need an extra level 3, that comes up. And this deck is more of a synchro deck now. So basically being able to play 2 level 3s, something off coelacanth matters a lot when you're not getting to the rest of your engine. Like if you're getting hand trip lot or you're getting drolled. I'll talk about that when we get to the extra deck. And the other ones is just these.
Yo, shout out those guys.
Shout out these guys. Infantry's pretty good. Won me a couple of games. He stays awesome. And then Statue is based.
The 2 unfun cards, like truly, the 2 unfun cards.
And
We
then-
got the world's biggest hater over here.
Yeah.
This deck is, I hate this deck, but I'm so happy that Sam did well. I hate this deck.
No, the problem is that people think that they can just go first and keep Nibiru in their hand and don't have to do anything and win the game, and then this card fixes that problem. Yep.
It's nice to have an out to like a card that you just punish people for being bad.
Yep. Okay, so non-engine. So my philosophy was I did not want a brick, so I played a lot more consistency cards than a lot of decks are playing. So I played each of these 3 one-ofs. A lot of people were playing. Some people were playing these 2. I also decided to play Small World. Small World has a lot of synergy with this deck. Small World searches anything from anything. Like I'm not going to describe the bridges, but you can pretty much get from any card to any card in this deck because they're all different types and they're all different levels. And then if you're side decking, you can also get from any non-water aqua to Lancia through Abyss Teus. So it's like another copy of Lancia when you're playing against.
I think I see Dana's like eyes lighting up, considering
Small
playing
World
Mermail just to play Small World.
Yeah.
One copy
it's a
of
really
it.
good Small World deck.
Interesting.
And then the other spells are called by it. That's all the spells.
Not a spell deck.
Yeah, not a spell deck. And then the non-engine, again, keeping it low because we want to see starters, and this deck can actually win the game if you don't draw 15. You don't need 3 hand traps to win the game with this deck. You just want to do like the bare minimum and then finish it off with your engine, and then just the basics. These cards are all really good. Probably the funniest interaction today was I Dominus Impulse to Quantum Cat. So I stopped from getting Harpy's Featherstorm by
Literally,
Odin.
I sitting next to Sam when this happened, looked over, seen the Quantum Kid stuck in the background, like, oh, this shit's fucking crazy.
No, I knew it was coming. Yeah, so.
He got Harpies Featherstormed 1 round
I got
earlier,
Harpy
so it was
Featherstorm
like
previous round, so it was on my mind. And then I played the 1 nib, so it might give my Voltron a little more bite. And it was okay. So just 13 hand trap.
That's like kind of crazy low for right now. Like, is Mermail just that good going second?
Yeah, I win almost all my games by drawing like one of these, or you draw like one of these versus a mid hand, or both of these versus a decent hand, and you draw 4 engine cards, like it's unstoppable. It's pretty much.
It's got the race thing. It's like if you have enough engine cards, you can push through a shit ton of stuff. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I like this deck a lot. It has like a lot of player agency, especially when you're pushing through boards going second.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I gotta open like some god floodgate to just win to like basically so I can just go first when I go second. Like I can just like break your board and set up the statue or kill you. And then yeah, so 43 cards, and you'll kind of see that reflected in the side deck. We'll move on to that. Played 3 strike, just like a basic card. I felt like I didn't want to try to like be like salesman, call a specific card. They don't have it. Like I just wanted to play the game. If I have to set up a half board, they stop me. Strike is really good. It's a little bit not as good into like the Ryziel stuff, but if you play against Malice and you hit a Link 3 and you have anything else, that's probably good enough. And then one more nib for Fuas and Perulas when you're going second, and then the cards you have to play this format for each of the specific decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then for your going first cards, the second Minstrel, help out with Droll, I guess, is really all it's there for, and then the one Woolen Glacier. This card is probably not needed. I did keep it in as a comfort pick if I play against something weird, that like, you know, or board breakers, which I did play against like Crystron deck where like the statue's not as good and they have like droplets and super poly or memento or the mirror match, like something like that where you like your inboard is kind of weak and you would like to rip cards. So I put it in there, but I actually didn't resolve this a single time.
Mm-hmm.
I summoned it once and I got impermed.
Would you consider playing like a different floodgate like Raiho for the mirror match or for Crystron, or do you think that like you should just be fine?
The problem with playing Raiho is that I also have to dedicate an extra deck spot to that as well. I think Woolen Glacier fills that slot in the side. But yeah, just didn't come up today. But I think it might still be worth siding. But it's definitely not nearly as needed as it was before.
Right.
And then kind of going with what I was talking about earlier, the back row, or just anytime I go second against any deck, I play 3 anti-magic arrows, and this was huge for me today. The revelation that I found out from some other people's deck profiles talking about this deck is that you just don't need the battle phase to win this game, and it doesn't matter how much follow-up or how many cards your opponent has in their hand. If you get to play the game in main phase 2, and you set up the statue, and you put a Dragite there, or the Neptibus, the king pointing to it so it can be targeted, or you make, you know, you have the Neptibus in hand with the Bisrine and the Poseidon Engrave, or you make Chinging, some combination of cards like that, then it really doesn't matter that you give every battle phase on your turn 2, you'll just kill them on turn 4, essentially. And then this won me a game because if these were Lightning Storm Duster, I would have lost because I was playing against Malice. He kept Dominus Impulse in hand. When battle phase activate this, and then he didn't read it entirely, and then he tried to impulse me later in the turn, and he couldn't, and then I summoned Coelacanth from deck, and then I set up the statue, and then I killed him on turn 4. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was actually fantastic theory, and it worked out amazingly. So that's the side. I don't think I would change a single card. Extra deck looks a lot different than it used to, but probably is already fairly standard by now. Synchros, 1 Monoceros, 1 Prima Donna. This you need for the combo to summon back Pike or Grethus. This one is usually summoning statue from deck, but every now and then it summons something else. Trishula, you have to play this because in the lines now, if you get drolled or for some reason you're getting interacted with in a way that you don't get to banish a card from your opponent, you need to make sure your opponent has a banished card so that you can give him back a banished card to summon the statue out of the deck. So the Trishula did come up quite a lot. And then Crocodragon for the other 9 for basically when you don't need to make Trishula, this is usually better. This was good. Once I looked at my opponent's hand, they had called by, so I knew I didn't want to save my statue by trying to do the Neptibus Poseidon spin. Just making Crocodragon was to pop the normal summon worked out much better in that case. And then another card to help basically save your statue play. And then Ching-Ying is for awkward cards you can't clear going second, or whenever you're trying to protect your statue in the most bare minimum way, where you can't make anything else, you can usually just end on statue, Ching-Ying, and then the King Link 3. And so then even if you didn't get to anything else, and as long as you have 1 card in hand, they go normal summon, battle phase. On attack declaration, you go Abyss Rhine, pitch any card in your hand, draw a card, and then new chain, you go Ching-Ying, but extra normal summon, that's usually good enough. And then for the links, I still like this card. It actually didn't come up for me today, But in the last event I played in, it came up a lot, and a lot of people also don't read that when it's destroyed at like pluses, you go like plus 30. So I don't want to remove that. And then anemones for like combo and stuff, and then king is like an inboard piece. I don't play any of the equip spells, so you're not getting any value off of it. But you do need it to protect the statue. And then I played Lizardos. Lizardos is really good in this deck. Now, a lot of times you'll find your zones get clogged when you're trying to resolve Coelacanth summon from deck. So like if you have 2 bodies and you're trying to do Coelacanth and you want to summon 4 guys, you can take the 2, make Lizard, draw a card, and then a lot of times like you really needed that draw. And sometimes it'll save you. Like one game I drew Poseidra off this, and it was the only card in my deck that won me the game. And so Lizardos is really good. Also can, if you're trying to break a board and they have like an awkward card you can't clear, you can make Chinging, and then Lizardos will actually trigger the Chinging.
This happened in testing yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it's happened multiple times. And then one Lavirtue helps take 2/3 and you can put them together to add back a card from your graveyard. Most of the time this adds back Neptibus to set up the Poseidra spin back on your opponent's turn. And then the other 7s, so 1 Gaios. This comes up when you're like getting hand trapped a lot, Fluid, Peruliad. You have to end like a crap board or your hand is not good. Didn't come up today as much, but it's come up a lot. And then the Abyss Trite to summon back from the grave, combo piece. And then the best card in extra deck is the Poseidra that spins. And then summons back 3 from the graveyard for some reason when you link it off. You could just play 1.
I was going to ask why you're playing 2. Most people only play 1. What's the whole reason there?
And actually, I was playing against Steven Santoli, and we got into a weird grind game because he super polyed. He had like Droplet Super Poly in hand, but I was able to get rid of his engine with the limited interaction I had. So I already went through 1, and then I went Abyss Ryan, summoned back this, or I sent Neptibus, summon this back, and then I just overlaid this on top, and then he immediately scooped because I was going to link it off and summon back 3 more guys.
Dang. Okay.
So like, and then also if you play against any of the cash decks, it's just so important to have. There's nothing else you could play in your extra deck that would come up more than the second copy of this. Even if it's not like a deck to get into a weird grind game, you just want to have this card.
This is just Team Evo PTSD when you play against Adam. He just rips your Poseidra every single game.
Yeah, I mean, if we're at locals, you gotta play the second one. But for this event, like, I just thought it's just better than playing like Abyss Keeper, which is the one that summons the Coelacanth from hand. But like, that's like a very specific situation. Your opponent doesn't open anything.
Or you just tribute summon Coelacanth and you win the game, man. Like, truly.
Yeah, I mean, you could tribute summon Coelacanth if you don't have to normal summon. You can pit Coelacanth to the graveyard and summon it back off this. Like, you got plenty of options. Like, it's very rare that you would need the Abyss Keeper. So that's the deck. Honestly, I wouldn't change anything. I would say I tossed one game in 1 round, and then probably kind of tossed the second game. So this deck was really good, and it gives you a lot of player agency. So I went 7-2, and I'm happy with it. But I think if I brought my A game, I think this was a 9-0 worthy deck. So
yeah,
I think this deck is actually better than I expected because I was trying Mitsurugi and then came back to this deck. And I feel way more confident playing this deck. Like, I don't feel like I'm out of any games usually, unless very rarely do I feel like I'm just looking at my hand like, well, I guess I just lose.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm winning die roll, losing die roll, I don't really care. And that's kind of what I want in the Yu-Gi-Oh deck. So I'm super happy with this deck, and I think it's really good going forward, honestly.
Do you have any shout-outs?
Shout out Team Evo, everyone around. Shout out to Nick, also finished 17th. And then shout out Drew and Jenny from Team Evo, who also got their invites today. So, yeah, good work from all the Team Evo people at Lansing Regional.
Awesome. If you want to play this deck, we'll include a link to it in the description box down below. Thank you guys for watching.